Hey guys, Terry here. I wanted to do a quick video about stamping. I use stamps for card making, and I wanted to give you a few tips. So I was wondering the other day why sometimes when we order stamps they come as rubber stamps and sometimes they're clear. I get a lot of stamps from Stampin' Up! And I really thought they were going to switch from the rubber stamps to the cling, but or I shouldn't say cling, to the polymer, the clear stamps. So so I was looking that up. So I did a little research, and the main difference is the clear ones are nice because you can see through them. So if I wanted to put these stripes on top of this one, if I used a block, I could see where I was putting this one on this solid one. So that's a nice feature. But mechanically, with the material the way it is, a rubber stamp can be a cleaner image. So if you look at the fine details that are on this, it's going to stay up. It's going to stay in shape better with the rubber stamp. They used to be on wood-mounted blocks, and it's nice now that they don't waste that wood. It's on the rubber, and then I like to use the MISTI, but oh wait, let me get off track here. So that is the main difference. This is going to keep its shape better. Not to say that I've never seen these get damaged, so that's one of the main differences. You get a cleaner image with the rubber stamp, and they're durable, and they take up less room if they're not on the wood mount stamps. I do have the old, the old style where they were on the wood blocks, and these take up a lot of space. I don't have too many of these, but I do like that the newer ones don't take up much space. And then I store them on a shelf so that I can see all the sets. And then I also have them cataloged in Evernote so that I can search and find something. But that's the main difference. The good thing about the polymer stamps is, like I said, you can see through it. It said online that they have a softer image. I'm not sure what that means, so I don't know if it's got less detail if they make it in the polymer instead of the rubber. But you do have to be careful with these. The rubber, this polymer, is a plastic, and it can tear. So when you're removing them, be careful when you're removing them from the blocks. But then what I was going to say was, I like to use the MISTI when I'm stamping. So another difference between the stamps are, if you're using a rubber one, you position it on your cardstock. You would put your cardstock in here, and you'll notice the door won't shut if you have the mat in there. So the MISTI has a mat that will allow you to make up for the difference between the thickness. So the rubber mounted stamp is thicker. You take the mat out, do your stamping, and then if you're using a clear one, these are thinner, they don't have that rubber on them. You would put it on here, and the door won't pick it up because it's nowhere near it. Put the mat back in. Let go of my hand. And then it picks it up. So that's why that mat is in the MISTI, to make up for the difference of thickness. But yeah, I would say it's because the the companies must have to decide which way they make that stamp set. So you notice that this one, how detailed that is. Okay, so that's the difference between the polymer and the rubber stamps. The other thing I wanted to show you was one way that I store my stamps. They come in a lot of packaging. They usually come in something like this. if the packaging doesn't have any ideas on it, then I don't want to keep this part of it. I have my stamps stored inside these Avery Elle envelopes. They're just easier to get in and out of, like that. I might use my label maker and say what brand it was, but I usually don't worry about that. And usually there's some type of designation on the stamp set itself. And then I just have these stored either in a bin. This is an IKEA box. And it just lets me flip through them. I have them categorized by theme on my shelf. And I could flip through these and see which ones I want to use. If they have a die set, like this one has the dies, then I just throw the dies back in here. And I might put a magnetic sheet in here, just so these aren't on top of each other and I could see what they are. I think I showed you the magnetic sheets. Hold on. I bought a pack of 25 of these magnetic sheets. They're the perfect size for either inside the stamp set or in this. It has an adhesive, but for something like this I might just you can see the other thing I do is if I've stamped and colored them and have extras, I will put the extra pieces in the envelope too. But this is where I could just have this in there and have all the dies organized. It's a handy way to take it over to your die cutting machine too. So, just an idea. The thing you want to be careful of is when you've got all these magnets in here, if they start sticking to each other. So, see if you like that or not. You may not. What's the other thing? So, so when I was making cards yesterday, I was using my new Wendy Vecchi station. I bought the small little 7-inch one. They make a 12-inch one. But what I found was handy was, as I was gluing on the items, I put a little bit of liquid glue. I like to use the Tombow liquid glue. I was putting that on the paper, and then I noticed that I was using this pretty often for holding it in place while the glue dried. So it's really lightweight, and it's just a handy little tool. It has a ruler too. The ruler isn't as sticky as the magnets, and the magnets have felt on the bottom, so it was kind of a nice way that I could move them around and not make any marks on my card. But I thought that was really cool. The magnets are very strong. And then last thing I wanted to tell you about was coming up in the end of March here, March 27th and 28th, there's a stamp and scrapbooking show down at the fairgrounds. And if you go online, you could save $1 getting your coupon. So just register, print it out, and bring it with you. That way you don't have to wait in line. But yeah, it's just a wonderful event. If you've never been, they've got many vendors in each of the different booths, and you walk around like an expo and see you know, what products are available. And there's a lot of stamp vendors there, and I think on the website it'll say who's there. And there's also classes too. I haven't signed up for any of the classes, but there's also a crop too. Some people come in for the weekend and then do cropping there, but I think for most of it's just a shopping bonanza of buying stamps and storage items and all kinds of fun things for your craft room. So I highly recommend checking that out. The Columbus one used to not be as nice as it is now. It got taken over by a company, Great Lakes Scrapbook Events. They used to do a mega meet. Well, they still do a mega meet in Michigan, and they've really made the Columbus one become a really nice show. So I highly recommend it. Okay, thanks guys. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe so we can stay in touch. Thanks.